What I Learned Today. Sam De La Rosa joining us now. How are you, Sam?
I'm doing great, Doc.
It is National Comic Book Day, and Sam has a long, long history of working on... did you just do Marvel comics, or did you do some others?
You know, in 1982, I started with both Marvel and DC first, and then I jumped ship.
Okay, jumped over. Good move, Sam. I was a Marvel guy. Jeffy, were you a DC or a Marvel guy? He was an Action Comics guy.
Archie.
Little older, yeah, just a bit older. But some really cool stuff, because you worked on Venom a lot too, right?
I did. I worked on the first time he ever got his own comic book, and that's the basis for the movie coming out next month.
Have you been following the movie? Have you been involved in it, or do you know what the storyline is going to be?
You know, I just know that it's based on the work I had a hand in.
Okay.
There isn't going to be a Spider-Man in there, but it's still a good basis for the story.
It looks really interesting that they're doing that with a movie where you don't have the traditional hero that Venom. I mean, because he wasn't a good guy; he was a villain.
He was a villain, more an anti-hero in the series I worked on.
Okay, yeah, and I think that's a transition. So it looks like it could be awesome, though.
It looks spectacular in the trailers.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, Venom became quickly one of the more popular characters in Marvel. I don't think they had any idea that they created a villain initially, and like you said, he became the anti-hero. And
he's been around for over 30 years. That's a long time.
And the backstory was that part of the Secret Wars? Where the symbiont became his costume and then turned into Venom?
You know, years later, they backtrack, and they made it that way.
Oh, okay.
But that's where the costume originated, in Secret Wars number 8, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
Oh, see, I thought it was 7. I would have put money on 7.
There's a lot of confusion. 7, 8.
So was this a dream of yours growing up to work on comics, or you just stumbled into it?
You know, I always liked drawing as a little kid in grade school. Who doesn't like to draw in grade school?
It's just most of us are not good at it, though, Sam.
That's right.
Mom said I was good, but nobody else did.
I heard that, and I liked the popularity. You know, it was attention getting. So, you know, just drew stuff in elementary, and then I came across some comic books in grade school. Just transitioned to drawing comic book characters.
I do love comic book art, though, regardless of even the storylines. I've always loved comic book art. Lichtenstein, even the artist.
Oh yes, yeah. I remember.
And I've seen even artists write that comic book art is the only true American art form to originate in America.
I've read that. Yes.
Yeah,
sir.
which is pretty interesting. So, how did what were your contributions to the projects you worked on? Were you the drawer? Because there's a lot of
there's a lot of steps in comic books. You know, there's a writer, an editor who coordinates everything. There's a penciler or layout artist. There's an inker or finisher. There's a letterer and a colorist. I hope I'm not leaving anybody out. That's a whole lot of people. The books come out every month, so it takes a team to produce a comic book monthly.
Now, do most of the people on the team, the different positions you just described, were they all artists in their own right? Could they do different jobs, most of them? But you have one that you're usually specific?
Yes, some could, but they specialize because the books are monthly. You know, you do what you do best and the quickest.
So you get locked in.
Yeah,
you get locked into being the inker when you really wanted to be the damn printer.
Yeah, but many people do multiple jobs.
Okay.
You know, it just depends on the deadline.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, you're talking, how long does it take, I mean, would it take one person to draw every page in a standard comic and ink it and do it from start to finish themselves?
Wow. That's a lot of work. You know,
in today's world, though, like when you were growing up, you're talking about drawing on a separate piece of paper.
Yep, on paper.
And then you have to show it to somebody. You draw in today's world on your phone.
Yes.
Right? And
many artists work
have
digitally.
Your artwork right there. Yeah.
Do you like digital?
I haven't touched anything digital.
Wow.
It's just on paper.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Paper, pencil.
No, it's funny because
but do you post it on your websites or anything?
Yeah, yes, on my Facebook. Yeah.
So Jeffy and I grew up in radio in a time where there was no digital. It was all analog.
Yeah, we used to have the guy out back cranking the generator
up and the squirrel on the wheel. You know.
I'm old.
Yeah. So when we had a tape, we physically spliced the tape with a razor blade, and we'd put this stuff together. So when I finally got to the ability where digital came out, it was great. It just freed me up to actually do stuff. The people that learned on digital don't seem to have the same thought process. It's not that they're not creative or don't do a good job. It's just it's going to be a different type of creativity.
It is. It is. Many people ask me, why don't I go digital? I have more fun just drawing on a piece of paper, and you have, something physical to
say it's
to
more
show
real,
for.
isn't it?
Yeah, to me.
Yeah.
To me.
So tell me your the high water marks in your career, the ones where you're like that project or is there a drawing in particular that stands out that you go, that's the one I've always
You
loved?
have my favorite work in that stack right there, and it is Venom.
Oh, yeah.
Venom Lethal Protector #1. I've worked on every Marvel character there is, all the characters that they've made movies about, except don't say Deadpool. Never got on the Deadpool bandwagon because I was working on a lot of Spider-Man and Venom stories. But Venom is my favorite. But like I said, I got to work on every major character at both Marvel and DC. So
did it ever become just work?
No. I took on so much work that I would just work from the time I got up to the time it's time for bed.
Yeah.
So it was just very enjoyable.
Just who you are.
Yeah, I was able to, earn a living, support a family, stay at home.
That's really cool. Oh, so you did most of your work from home even?
All of my work.
Oh, wow.
I only went to the Marvel Studios twice in New York City, the Marvel offices, just for a week each time.
Yeah, we got a guy here who says he draws for us.
Yeah, that's what it would be, right? So, and you're local in Texas?
Born and raised in San Antonio. Now, as of June, I live in Fort Worth.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So you work from San Antonio the whole time, and you're at a home and doing the thing. How did because this is years ago. How do you even find a job? I mean, was it just in the trade magazines and stuff? Or?
No, just 10 years of sending in samples,
Just sending in samples to
yes,
them.
for
you
10 years.
To drawing. Wow.
A decade, yes. But what I didn't know is that they weren't going to hire me no matter what because I lived in San Antonio. They needed somebody to walk in and deliver the pages. And, it just wasn't possible for me. But what made it possible was FedEx was created. It became a reliable company. And it was used, and I was able to work from San Antonio.
Yeah, well, FedEx, man, those were the days when people used to, that was the beginning of the fax machine.
Right.
And you're able to send things across.
Some magic, wasn't it?
Magic.
So you would do all the work, and then you would load the pages up and ship them out.
Yeah, call FedEx, come to my
Overnight
house.
them, man.
There you go, pick it up. Never leave.
Did they ever lose them? Anything? I mean, because that's always got to be a fear, right? What if it gets lost?
Never.
That's amazing.
Never lost.
Nothing against FedEx. I just mean, can you imagine? Every time I would ship them, I would be worried.
Well, that's what happened previous to FedEx. Things were lost, delayed, and there would be a reprint issue, and they would say, dreaded deadline doom got us.
I remember those issues.
That's
that
why.
was great. Yeah, those are fun. And I remember for a short while, I think they tried to do it with X-Men early on because it was so popular that they tried to do twice a month. I remember when they tried to do that, and it just never quite panned out.
There's a few books that went that way. I think Superman went that way. Spider-Man, X-Men. Yeah.
That's a lot of. That's 2 weeks. That's pretty. And most of those the comic books, they're not working ahead 2-3 months at a time.
No, I mean I've worked on books where I see it on the stands, 2.5 weeks later. That's scary.
That's amazing because most of it is not uber topical. It's not like you're tying into the Kavanaugh confirmation hearings.
You have an idea of where you're going, though, right?
Yeah, everything is all. By the time I get it, it's been. There's been a story. It's been laid out or drawn. I just finished the artwork.
Yeah.
So it's just putting in the time to keep the quality up and get it out to Marvel.
Do you have any characters you've created that you've never submitted or turned down anything?
When you work for Marvel or DC, if you create something,
it's theirs.
It's theirs. So
do you have anything that you haven't told them about? that you consider that? That's just my daughter.